Funny story, you know, I I used to want to be rich. I used to want to be famous. But I found out a long time ago that I don't like big crowds. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't. I I don't. Um I'm perfectly okay with being by myself and doing uh things on my own. Succeed or fail, it don't really matter to me. Those things don't really matter. Um, but what's interesting is that I went through this intense um, spell of depression and self-loathing and insecurity. I was a mess. I was a mess, and I had I had a house, had a decent job. Um, I had friends, um, had family, had all the support. I wasn't being ignored. Um, People saw me. The people that knew me and that I interacted with, they saw me, and I was a mess. It was horrible. I was miserable, and it's weird because then one day my life gets flipped upside down. Uh, I lose my vehicle. It was stolen, and it ended up getting totaled. Um, so subsequently, I lost my job. Well, then I lost the house. And had nowhere to go. I started noticing people in my life, friends and family, disappearing, like being unavailable. Like when my life got flipped upside down, everybody became unavailable, you know? So I was all alone, right? I had to face it. I had to deal with it. Now, mind you, jobless, no transportation of my own, and no roof over my head of my own, right? So I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? How do I come out of this? This is bad. I'm in a horrible spot in life right now. Or well then, and I one day while I was homeless and jobless and vehicleless, no money in my pocket, um, not sure where my next meal was gonna come from, I realized that for some reason, I I didn't feel like a mess anymore. And I dove deeper into it. I wanted to understand it more. I wanted to figure it out more. So I just started examining how could I be feeling not so horrible when I have nothing, right? I mean, absolutely nothing. And that's when I realized is that the things I did have, even though they weren't extravagant by no means, the things I did have was the reason why I was feeling so horrible, right? So I made a decision. I was like, okay, I'm gonna ride this. I'm gonna ride this storm out. I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna see where it takes me, right? And it didn't take long, but I started seeing society for what it was, and not just society, not just the dynamics of society, but the people that are a part of society, of the dynamic of society, right? And okay, so I'm really smart in well educated in certain things, and then there's a lot of things that go completely over my head or get ignored or I don't fully understand. But I realized that that didn't do it for me. That don't do it for me. So the fame, the riches, it don't do it for me. But what does do it for me? I don't know. I don't know. Me, me. I am my joy. You know, and some people might think it's weird for me to say, but my joy doesn't come from my kids. It doesn't come from my kids. I'm happy about my kids. You know what I'm saying? They make me proud. They're, they are inspiring little people. But no, it all came from me, and in chasing all this stuff. It might be cool and fantastic to other people, but for me, I don't know. I know. I know there's a reason I feel that way. And I mean, I don't think anybody else would understand it. So I'm not going to really break it down just yet. But yeah, man, giving it all up, I felt better about myself. And then, okay, so I'm riding the storm out. I'm feeling better about myself, but I have nothing, right? And so then I get a job because I never quit looking for employment. So then I get a job, um, and I start working on like business ideas because like I don't want to work for somebody else. I truly don't. I want to work for myself, right? But I don't want to be a scammer. I don't want to be somebody making monetary gains, but providing a worthless product or service. Or worse yet, providing nothing at all for my monetary gains. So I started figuring out the way the world works, right? So if you care too much about that stuff, it'll drive you to need it, to want it, to desire it. And you'll put your all into it and everything. But for me, that wasn't the answer. That wasn't the answer. I haven't found my answer. I'm still working on myself. But back to the story. So I got a job, worked it for a while. Then I bought a car, and, back and forth, able to get back and forth to work efficiently. And now I was in a position where, yeah, I could pick up some overtime hours, right? Or even a second job because I can get there quicker because I have my own transportation. I don't have to rely on public transportation, right? So, excuse me. So I was doing all that, and then I got an apartment, right? And the damnedest thing happened. Like, that miserable feeling came right back. Like, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. So here I am for a second time feeling miserable and couldn't understand why. Well, then my life took another shit took another shit. And you know, in it might sound like these things are happening back to back for me, but no, this is years going in between, you know, it's taking years. So again, I end up with almost nothing again. But then I'm happy again. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. I have my theory. Like I said, I got theories, but it's weird. It's crazy. Would you look at that?